What's going on, guys? It's Jay from Dirty Boy Tools, and I wanted to go over with you guys my current toolkit that I use at work. It's got some updates from the last toolkit that I posted. Overall, very happy with it. It's been working out very well for me, covering about 70 to 80% of my jobs, and everything stays tight in there. If I move around, you don't really see a lot of movement except for the bit kit, and if I turn it upside down, things don't come out. And if it doesn't come out when it's upside down, it's probably not going to come out when you're walking around and bumping into things and such. It's pretty secure, very happy with it, easy to access, and I will link all the tools in here and go over them a little bit with you guys. That way you can decide for yourselves if you want to get them. I can tell you one thing, all of these tools have given me some good applications and good uses, but you don't know what the future holds. I may switch them out for other tools and see what happens. First things first is my Timo bit kit. This is a bit kit that holds 32 bits in there. You just open it up like this, and I put my own bits in here, some of them anyway, like for example this one, just because, you know, specific to my needs, right? And I put a lot of these in here because they didn't come with any standard size hex bits, which is what I use the most out of anything, particularly the 3/16 and the 1/4 inch. I use those a lot. Very good to have, tape measure style. It has a little clip in the back, clip it to your belt directly. Only thing I'm worried about is how soon will it take for this piece to break off. Of course I'll get a new one if it does, but I hope it'll last me a long time. Next up is a pair of scissors from Klein. I was looking for a pair of thin scissors that I can use to cut wire ties, thin wire, and this is not it. This is not the pair of scissors to do that. But it is very compact, it is very skinny, so it does fit very well into this spot, and it takes up no space. And for some tools, some power tools that we use at work, or electric tools, sometimes they come with little strings, so I could just take these out, cut the string off. It's convenient to have, but not really good utility for what I thought I could use it for. Next up, let's go with this side. Why not? My cheapy screwdriver. This is one of the two items that's always going to be consistent with me in any kit. You could use it as a pry bar. You could use it as an all poking tool. I use it a lot to clean and scrape gunk off of different types of tooling and things like that. Very useful and very cheap, so you don't have to be afraid about breaking this, because you can buy a pack of 10 for probably $10 and replace it out. It's not too bad. This is my oiler pen. Very useful tool since I've gotten it. You fill up the top with oil, twist it off, and then you just take this part off, and it's a plunger style, so you push the button here, you can put out drops of oil onto whatever you need to oil up. I have a light machine oil in here. I think it's like an air motor oil that I use. Very useful. My PB Swiss precision driver, very useful as well, particularly because of the blades. They have very small flathead blades in here, and they are what I need for some of these reed switches that I deal with. My complaint is that the magnet in here is very weak, and the actual bit portion will attach to the magnet, so it's not a good surface area. So just be mindful, if you get one of these and you use it, you might end up getting this snagged out, so you know, just keep an eye on that. It hasn't been a problem for me. Alright, so in here I got my Coast DX126. It's just a utility knife. Coast, I guess, went a little above and beyond, and instead of just using a frame lock, they put another lock in there, so now the frame lock is reinforced from going down. I don't think that's necessary. I don't know how anyone would use their utility knife in the way that they put all that pressure on the lock and force it to break. I really don't know, but I guess they're trying to play it safe. Overall, good cutter. I mean, you know, what else is there to say? It's hard to deploy with one hand. I know they advertise as such, but it is very hard to do that. So if you get it for the intended use of doing that, don't get this. Get a fastback or something like that. I have this because it's compact and I can put pneumatic hoses in between and do a nice clean cut without any worries or issues. That's really the only reason I have it in there. Next up, so this is by company Neiko, Neiko. I don't know if they're the OEM for this set of pliers. I've seen many different companies sell this. It's a cheaper pair, under $20. The reason I have it is because it's such a thin set. I think Fujiya makes another thin set that'll fit into, this part, but most of these needle nose pliers with cutters and with crimpers won't fit into this, so I have to kind of settle on these pairs. That being said, they are good. I don't do a ton of electrical work, so I'm not a good judge of these types of pliers, but I did use the crimper the other day. They worked fine. I used the cable cutters. They worked fine. I used the needle nose portion. They worked fine. I can't really give a good opinion on those. They get the job done for me. Next up is the Milwaukee ink saw. Just good to have a marker on you. When you have a couple of pneumatic hoses and you have to take them off and replace something, you take this out. You can mark down whatever the hose is, number 1 through 5, 1 through 10, whatever, and then put it back in place. It's always good to have. Next up is a pretty new tool to me. I've been using these for a short time, and I'm very content with them. The Knipex wrench pliers, jaws keep parallel. Jaws are smooth and flat, so you can turn it like a wrench and turn it back, and it'll replace ratcheting tools and allow you to have a ratcheting style effect on many different fittings. Very good tool, highly rated by many people, highly revered, cloned and copied by many different companies for good reason. It works very well. I have the 180 millimeter version. It's a little under 7 inches, I think. It's the Ergo Grip. I got the Ergo Grip because I decided to be cheap and save a couple of bucks. In retrospect, I should have spent a little bit more on the regular grip because it does take up less space. This part is kind of fat and it makes it a little tough. The kit has stretched out a little bit and adapted, so it's not so bad now, but I think the original would have been better. Next up is a pair of pliers I talked about recently. This is the Lobster UWP 200 DNA. It's got screw removal functions. It's got rounded. You see how the jaws are a little rounded there, round points. So if you do need to grab a bolt or a nut, you won't round it out. You probably still will mar it though. I mean, it's got jaws on it. I don't use that for grabbing that. I use it for grabbing like maybe pipes, or if something is too big for this, I'll use this. Overall, I really like this tool. It's got a lot of functions. It's got the little flathead pry bar function on it. Different profiles in the jaws help me for different things. This rounded profile here for grabbing, rounded for here. I have this part that could grab, flatter stock. I have this portion here that can cut through wire, not thin wire, more like, fencing style wire, galvanized steel wire. Overall, I like it, but the mechanism is a little loose. The slip joint mechanism is a little loose for my taste, but you can't win everything, right? Next up, let's go with this. Same company as this, Lobster. This is in here more so for 2 reasons, I guess. It's one, I am testing these out to see if this is my favorite adjustable wrench, and 2, there are some applications that the adjustable wrench is superior to the Knipex, in my opinion. There are very few applications, but sometimes you don't encounter all 6-sided bolts. Sometimes you encounter like round stock with 2 flat ends. In that case, the wrench pliers is kind of annoying because you got to turn it and then you got to go all the way back, and it's not ideal. This type of wrench is a little bit more ideal for that scenario. But I am looking to see if I can replace one of these out right now. This is the winner. This is probably what I'm going to keep. And if I take this out, I'll have a little bit more space for other tools if necessary. Overall, lobster wrenches are really good. My one complaint is that they don't have SAE standard scales. They only have metric scales, and the Crescent big mouths and Baco wide ones, they open up a little bit wider than 30 millimeters. So that's a downside of this. But it is lightweight, and it does have same thing as the pliers, rounding here and there for the corners. Very good wrench overall. Next up, again, is relatively new to me. It's a vessel screwdriver, but I do love it. That ball grip, it really does change things. It allows you to put it in your palm, rest it this way, allows you to grab it this way. It's so comfortable to use, and the ball makes it easy to grab out of my kit, and then I can use it and then put it right back in. Comes with this number 2 Phillips, number 6 flat. Came with a couple other bits. I don't need to use those other bits, so I don't carry them with me. Also, a nice feature for me, real nice feature. I used this yesterday actually. The bit holder fits very well in here, very snug, very secure, so I can put bits in there and I can drive it like this. So if I don't feel like using this, I can have a more comfortable driver if I'm putting in a lot of screws. Of course, after I finish up, I might have to tighten up. In that case, I will use this. This is my Vim ratchet. Along with my cheapy driver, this is one of 2 tools that's always probably going to be consistent with me in my work toolkits because I just use it so much. I use this in conjunction with, of course, my bit kit, and it's a bicycle style ratchet. You have a T-bar here, ratcheting here. This is pass through. So if I want to extend that out and have like an L driver, I can do that. And the head can come back and forward and every which way I need to make it go to manipulate. Very good tool, worth every penny. Love it. It's what I use the most. I'm not saying it's my favorite tool in here because I can't really decide what my favorite is, but it probably is my most used and most trusted, most reliable one. So there you guys have it. These are all the tools that I keep in this kit. This is 9 inches long, 4 inches wide. Still, very compact kit. And if you get a brand new one and you put all these tools in here, you might have some trouble at first. I think overall it kind of formed and stretched a little bit. But overall, quality material. But like I said before, I think this is a clone of the Tough Built 5-in-1 pouch. That being said, I just purchased a Tough Built 7-in-1 pouch that should be coming in the mail soon. I'm going to see if that works for me because these tools are all great, but one thing I'm missing is a set of standard Allen wrenches, and I want to keep those on me because they are convenient to have. They help me get into tight spots. If I put the bit on this, I may not always fit into certain holes their screws are recessed in. So I'm looking to change up a couple things and improve this kit, and then one day I will be at a point where I can do 90, maybe 95% of jobs with just what I carry around. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any suggestions about similar tools, similar replacements. If you have any suggestions about needle nose pliers that can cut and crimp, let me know. I'd love to hear about it. I don't have as much knowledge on electrician tools, so that would be very helpful, guys.